Everyone has had contact with some kind of river, starting with small watercourses which might have been named by accident, through these unwanted rivers enclosed with concrete on every side, as well as those who, after a slightest rainfall, threaten to be more vicious than the breed-hungry pigeons in the old town. To some people, a river means something precious only after it has been mentioned by no less than 100 poets. And finally, the monstrous ones were seeing the other bank might as well be black magic. Rivers are so common to humans that while talking about them, we can finish more than one bottle of wine. Their changeability is undeniable, and inspired by it, even the Greek poets would shoot Pantare! But does everything always flow? Here I could search through half of the internet and show you the most impressive examples. But what is an adventure without a little bit of traveling? Ultimately, often we are moved the most not by the first page news the whole world is blasting about, but the intimate stories closer to us. Let's take a look at the map and embark on a trip. Discover. To learn something new for today will be Cascade of the Sowa River, located in southern Poland. A river quite inconspicuous, for its length doesn't exceed 100 kilometers. A river which one day lazy sips towards the Baltic Sea, not reaching above the knee, just to increase its flow even 100-fold the next, flooding the surroundings like a 100-meter tall beast. That was one, but not the only reason why on around 20 kilometers there are as many as 4 artificial reservoirs. But where did the idea that building on the river could be useful even come from? Let's start at the beginning. The concept of water accumulation is far from new and has been around since the beginnings of civilization. It might even predate the first settlements by a few million years. Since it's been beaver's specialty since time immemorial. Let's return to our own species though. Human body is comprised mostly of water. We need it almost all the time. Assuming this is all of the water in our body, when we lose as little as this much, we experience severe thirst. With this much, we lose our balance, speech, and at this level, death. Human settlement has been centered around securing water sources since the beginning of time. Usually rivers, which aside from a method of transportation, provides human with hydration. Behind me, you can see a storage of potable water. This method of providing people with this life-giving liquid is also not new. In the Middle East, construction like this have been raised since 3000 years ago. Some of them remain functional. But if your area doesn't have similar containers, there's no need to ponder where the tap water comes from. Depending on the location and the abundance of groundwater, up to 100 of water might be sourced from the underground springs. Even if the area you live in is rich in these sources, it does not automatically mean it will always be. Humanity, even respectful of the ecosystem and careful about maintaining the natural balance, has achieved the lowering of the groundwater level a few times. Let me guess, you think this change to be mostly the fault of the mines? There's some truth to it, but it's a subject far too complicated to get into as a juncture. This lake was created to supply water the agglomeration famous for their mines. Yes, we are currently about 60 kilometers from Katowice, the heart of mining Silesia region. But doesn't this 60 kilometers seem a bit too far? Maybe if we were using buckets, we would have to hire long-distance Olympic runners. But as soon as we recall the Roman aqueducts, construction that have been delivering water through mountains and valleys through thousands of years. So having in mind the current state of technology, this distance will seem much more manageable to transport by. Okay, we have something to drink, that it's not the only reason for the construction of dams. Some people really don't know where the word came from. So let's take a look. The English dam has their roots in Dutch language. And only by going to the Netherlands, populated rather by bicycles than by the people, can we fully appreciate another benefit of water dams. With the etymology in mind, don't the little-known cities of Amsterdam or Rotterdam sound closely related to the topic of this video? Without the river engineering, living in these cities would have been near impossible. In the case of SOA, the situation wasn't as dramatic. The people did somehow have to manage for hundreds of years, but surely inconvenient still. Even after the engineering efforts on this wild river, the citizens of the closed city, Kent, had to fish out their belongings from the water running down the streets as if they were Venetian canals. The dams doesn't only benefit the nearby cities. The hydraulic engineering works in favor of Krakow, located almost 100 kilometers from the dams. This royal city utilized the water accumulation by the dams in the surrounding area in cases of floods. The people responsible for operating the dams can disrupt the water flow and, in doing so, mitigate the results of the flood wave. On one hand, what is understandable, people don't want to lose their belongings, and in the worst case, life. On the other, construction new lakes it's not without its cost. Whole towns might be lost underwater, not mention migration of a population. These dams are not an extreme case. The towns and villages lost to its creation were on the small and common side. That was not the case in Turkey, where in the last few years, dams created by the rivers famed for their role in the beginnings of human civilization, Tigris and Euphrates, flooded historical sites thousands of years old. And surely, from a scientist or a tourist point of view, it breaks your heart to think about antique buildings lost to the flood. But for locals, it's a speck of hope for better living, like an access to electricity in the new living areas. That might have been the case with the Turkish dams, and it was the case here, not 100 years ago. As for how these dams related to electricity and what kind of romantic ideas accompanied their creation, that we'll have to wait until the next episode. Hey, thank you for watching this video, and if you have any opinion, suggestions or something else about that movie, something you like, something you dislike, let me know in the comments. Especially I wish to know something about the dubbing of the video. I don't know if it's worth of it or it's the better way is put just the subtitles. So it'd be amazing to know what's your opinion. Thanks, bye.